I recently spoke with a dental practice owner named Dr. Sarah Martinez, and she told me something that stuck with me. I became a dentist to help people smile, not to spend my evening drowning in paperwork and missed appointment notifications. Dr. Martinez isn't alone. Across the whole United States, thousands of dental practice owners face the same reality, caught between patient care and practice management, between the art of dentistry and the chaos of running a business. But what if I told you the future of dental practices isn't just about better tools or new procedures? It's about a fundamental transformation in how practices operate, a transformation that already begun, quietly reshaping the industry while most owners are too busy to notice. Over the next few minutes, we are going to explore what happens when dental practices embrace this transformation and what happens when they don't. This isn't just about technology. It's about survival, growth, or rediscovering why you became a dentist in the first place. So let's start with where we are right now. In 2025, the average dental practice operates much like practices did 20 years ago, at least on the operational side. Sure, you have upgraded your X-ray equipments to digital. You might have a nice website. Maybe you have online booking. But behind the scene, your front desk staff is still making hundreds of manual phone calls every week. Your team is still playing phone tag with insurance companies. You are still dealing with the same 20 to 30% no-shows rate that's plagued the industry for decades. Let me paint you a picture of a typical Monday morning at a dental practice. It's 7:30 a.m. Your receptionist arrives and finds 12 voicemails from Friday afternoon and the weekend. 3 are cancellations, 5 are questions about insurance coverage, 2 are wrong numbers, 1 is urgent, a patient in pain who needs an emergency appointment. 8 p.m. she starts calling today's patient to confirm their appointments. Out of 15 scheduled patients, she reaches 8. 4 don't answer. 3 calls go to full voicemail boxes. 9 a.m. First patient is a no-show. The appointment slot sits empty. That's $300 in lost revenue. 9:30 a.m. A patient arrives for an appointment that was actually scheduled for tomorrow. Confusion ensues. Your schedule is thrown off. 10 a.m. You are trying to see patients, but your assistant interrupts. Someone on the phone has questions about their insurance coverage that will take 15 minutes to sort out. By noon, you are already 55 minutes behind the schedule. Your stress level is rising. Your team is frazzled, and you haven't even dealt with the insurance verification backlog yet. This is the reality for most dental practices. And here is the thing. It's not because you are doing something wrong. It's because you are trying to run a modern medical practice with an operational system designed for a different era. The dental industry generates over $140 billion annually in the United States alone. Yet, most practices operate with profit margins of only 30 to 40%. Why? Because 60 to 70% practice expenses go to overhead, and a massive chunk of that overhead is administrative inefficiency. Think about it. How many hours per week does your team spend on tasks that don't directly contribute to patient care? Phone calls, appointment confirmations, insurance verification, data entry, rescheduling, chasing down paperwork. If you are like most practices, it's about 40 to 60 hours per week. That's 1.5 full-time employees worth of labor dedicated entirely to administrative frictions. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is what most practices don't realize yet. We are standing at an inflection point. The technology to cut most of this friction already exists. The question isn't, can we automate these processes? The question is, what happens to dental practices who don't? To understand where we are headed, let's look at the 3 waves of transformation currently reshaping dental practices. Wave 1, digital infrastructure. The first wave was digitalization, moving from paper to pixels, digital x-rays, electronic health records, online booking systems. Most practices have adopted at least some of these tools. But here is what most owners discovered. Digitalization alone doesn't solve the core problems. Yes, you have digital records now, but someone still has to manually enter that data. You have online bookings, but patients still call with questions. You have digital x-rays, but coordinating treatment plans with patients still requires endless back and forth. Digitalization was necessary, but it wasn't enough. It was like upgrading from paper map to GPS. Helpful, but you are still driving the car manually. Now, wave 2. Automation and AI assistance. The second wave, the one we are in right now, is intelligent automation. This isn't just digital tools, it is systems that actually handle tasks autonomously, like AI receptionists that answer patient calls 24/7, automatic appointment confirmation systems that reduce no-shows by 30 to 40%, insurance verification tools that check eligibility before patient even arrives, smart scheduling systems that optimize your appointment flow. Let me give you a real example. A practice in Austin, Texas implemented an AI phone system 6 months ago. Here is what changed. Before, their two front desk staff handle an average of 120 calls per day. They could only answer about 85 of them during business hours. The other 35 become voicemails or missed opportunities. After, the AI system handles 100 plus routine calls per day. Appointment booking, rescheduling, basic questions. The front desk staff now focus on the 20 to 30 calls that actually need human attention. Complex cases, upset patients, insurance issues. Result? The practice added the equivalent of one full-time employee's worth of productivity without hiring anyone. No-show rates dropped from 28 to 12%. Patient satisfaction scores increased because someone or something was always available to help. But here is the fascinating part. The front desk staff weren't replaced. They were upgraded. Instead of being glorified answering machines, they became patient experience coordinators. Now they have time to build relationships, handle complex situations, and actually improve care. Wave 3, predictive and autonomous systems. The third wave is just beginning, and it's where things get really interesting and maybe a little unsettling. Imagine systems that don't just respond to problems but predict and prevent them. AI that analyzes patient communication patterns and identifies who is likely to no-show before they do. Scheduling systems that automatically optimize your calendar based on procedure types, patient histories, and revenue goals. Financial forecasting tools that predict cash flow issues months in advance. Some practices already testing these systems. A group practice in California uses predictive analytics to identify patients at risk of leaving for another dentist. The system analyzes appointment frequency, communication patterns, treatment acceptance rates. When it identifies an at-risk patient, it automatically triggers a personalized retention campaign. The result? Patient retention increased by 18% in the first year. But here is where we need to pause and ask an uncomfortable question. At what point optimization becomes manipulation? When does helpful automation cross the line into something that feels wrong? This is the paradox dental practice owners will face in the coming years. The technology to maximize efficiency and revenue is incredibly powerful, but the human element, trust, relationships, genuine care is what makes dentistry meaningful. How do we embrace one without losing the other? Let me tell you about two dental practices. Both started in 2015. Both in mid-sized suburban areas with similar demographics. Practice A embraced automation early. By 2020, they had implemented automated appointment reminders, AI-powered phone answering, digital intake forms, and insurance verification systems. They invested about $12,000 upfront and pay roughly $1,500 per month for various automation tools. Practice B stuck with traditional methods. They believed personal touch was everything and were skeptical of automation. They invested instead in hiring additional front desk staff and expanding their team. Fast forward to 2025, here is where they stand. Practice A sees 25% more patients with the same number of operators. No-show rate 11%. Staff of 8 people handling high patient volume. Profit margin 42%. Dentist stress level moderate, focused on clinical work. Patient satisfaction 4.7 out of 5 stars. Practice B, patient volume has grown modestly. No-show rate 26%. Staff of 12 people. Higher payroll cost. Profit margin 28%. Dentist stress level high, consistently putting out fires. Patient satisfaction 4.2 out of 5 stars. The difference? Practice A generates approximately $380,000 more in annual net profit despite serving a similar community. But here is what's even more telling. Practice B's owner, Dr. Chen, is considering early retirement. He is burnt out. He spends 15 to 20 hours per week on administrative tasks. He feels trapped in his practice rather than energized by it. Practice A's owner, Dr. Patel, works fewer clinic hours and takes 6 weeks of vacation per year. Why? Because her practice runs whether she is there or not. This isn't a story about technology replacing humans. It's about technology freeing humans to do what they do best. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my patients want to talk to a real person. They don't want to interact with a machine. And you are partially right. Patients do want human connection, but not for everything. A recent survey of dental patients found that 68% prefer automated appointment reminders over phone calls. 71% would rather fill out intake forms digitally before arriving. 54% are comfortable with AI answering basic questions if it means faster service. But 89% want human interaction for treatment discussion and complex concerns. The key insight: patients want human connection where it matters. They don't want to spend 10 minutes on hold just to reschedule an appointment. They don't want to repeat their insurance information for the 5th time. They want efficiency for routine tasks and empathy for important moments. Automation done right doesn't replace the human touch, it protects it. It clears away the noise so that when you do interacts with patients, it's meaningful. Here is where we need to talk about something deeper, something that goes beyond just a tool or efficiency. There is a paradox at the heart of automation that most practice owners don't recognize until they are in the middle of it, and I call it the agency paradox. When you implement automation systems, you are essentially creating a digital version of your practice's decision-making process. The AI learns your preferences, your schedule logic, your communication style. Over time, it gets really good at operating like you would. But here is the paradox. The better the system gets at running your practice, the less involved you are. The more the system shapes your practice to its own optimization metrics rather than your human values. Let me give you a concrete example. Dr. Rodriguez implemented an AI scheduling system that optimizes for revenue per hour. The system is brilliant. It figures out the most profitable procedure combinations, identifies optimal appointment lengths, and book accordingly. 6 months in, Dr. Rodriguez noticed something odd. The system was consistently booking fewer pediatric patients and more cosmetic procedures. Why? Because cosmetic consultations had higher revenue potential and lower cancellation rates. The system was doing exactly what it was programmed to do, maximize revenue, but it was inadvertently changing the character of the practice. Dr. Rodriguez had always prided himself on serving families and children. Now his practice was becoming something different. This is the agency paradox. We build the systems to serve our goals, but those systems reshape our practices in ways we didn't fully anticipate. The solution isn't to reject automation. The solution is to maintain agency, to stay conscious of what you are optimizing for, and regularly ask, is this still the practice I want to run? Are these still the values I want to embody? The most successful dental practice owners in 2025 aren't the ones with the most advanced technologies. They're the ones who use technology intentionally as a tool that serves their vision rather than dictates it. Think of it this way. Automation should amplify your humanity, not replace it. The goal isn't to remove yourself from your practice. The goal is to remove yourself from the chaos so you can focus on the part that actually matters. Patient relationships, clinical experience, team culture, strategic growth. So, where do you start? How do you build a practice that embraces transformation without losing its soul? Here are the 3 principles that successful practices follow. Number 1, automate transactions, human interactions. Automate everything that's transactional. Appointment reminders, confirmation, basic questions, insurance verification, intake forms. These are important, but they are not where you add unique value. Humanize everything that's relational. Treatment consultations, addressing patient concerns, building trust, celebrating milestones. This is where you are irreplaceable. Number 2, start small. Scale thoughtfully. Don't try to automate everything at once. Start with your biggest pain point, usually phone management or appointment no-shows. Implement one system, measure the result, learn from it, then expand. Number 3, keep your team in the loop. The biggest mistake practice owners make is implement automation without preparing their team. Your staff might fear replacement. They need to understand that automation is about elevation, not elimination. Show them how these tools will make their job better, not obsolete. Involve them in choosing and implementing solutions. Make them champions of change rather than victims of it. The future of dentistry isn't about choosing between high-tech and high-touch. It's about high-tech to enable high-touch. It's about building practices that are efficient enough to be profitable and human enough to be fulfilling. The practices that thrives in the next decades won't be the ones with the most advanced technology. They will be the ones that use technology to create space. Space for creativity, space for growth, space for relationships, space for the reason you became a dentist in the first place. The transformation is already happening. The only question is, will you shape it or will it shape you? If this resonates with you, subscribe to join a community of dental owners who are building smarter, more human practices. Drop a comment and tell me what's your biggest operational challenge right now. Let's figure it out together. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.